Member of Parliament, Lothan Cousins, that is his constituency. I tried to get him to find out what was happening. But apparently he's busy. But the people down there are calling for better roads. This is a cry all over Jamaica. Well, this evening's program, as usual, is filled with nourishing information. Coming up shortly, we will be talking to Mr. Raymond Pryce. He contested the chairmanship of the People's National Party today in rainy conditions. And apparently, the field down in Manchester was not to his it was not to his style at all. His batting failed, I understand, and he lost. I don't know by how many runs, but I know that his side was skittled out. Yes, and later on, we'll be talking to the trade unionist, and workers' time. As usual, we want to find out what is happening at the workplace. That's a very crucial element in the production chain. And on that note, I saw where the security guards won a major battle in the courts this week. We'll be talking to them about that. This contract workers situation is getting out of control. And then after that, we're going to be linking up with our friends, in the rural parishes, and we are going to England and Canada to talk to our friends, our Jamaicans over there, to see what is happening. This is Rebel Radio, Desmond Richards. Right now, we're trying to get Comrade Pryce. Is he there? He's our next guest. And we'll be, as I said, trying to find out what happened in Manchester today in that race for the chairmanship of the People's National Party. As I said, later on we'll be talking to trade unionists Lambert Brown and Granville Valentine. We're going to be talking to them about what is happening in the trade union arena. Well, lots of things happening in the country, lots of things. We can't exhaust what is happening here in Jamaica at this time. Then the weather, fortunately for us, the hurricane changed its course, but flooding, look out for flooding. I gather we have Mr. Raymond Pryce on the line now. Raymond, how are you? Hello? Raymond? Apparently, he must be taking shelter from the rain, man. Yes. As I said, there are so many things happening. The weather, we were expecting a hurricane, a storm, but fortunately for us, the course, it changed its course. But it is dumping a lot of rain, water on the country. And as you know, are fully aware that whenever we have a hurricane in Jamaica, whenever there is heavy rain in Jamaica, then there is flooding. And when there is flooding in Jamaica, historically, that those at the bottom of the economic and social ladder are the ones who are washed out. Some their possessions are washed out, houses, property, farms, and many are washed out into the sea. Many, are dead. So I am very, very, and I know most of us must be very happy that the hurricane changed its course. But don't drop your guard. Keep your guards up, because the floods will come. And The other thing is that the response of the Jamaican state to flooding in Jamaica over the year has been dismal. Lots of empty promises. Now, people living in places like Bull Bay, people living in places like Riverton City, in Duane Park, and those low-lying areas in Clarendon, the southern section of the country, over the years, they are the ones who have suffered mostly. And despite government promises, and I mean billions of dollars have been spent. Billions have been damaged. I know, for example, that in 2004, Hurricane Ivan mashed up the place. And for example, I know roads in places like Cane River. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. Those roads were damaged by Hurricane Ivan, and they remain as they were. And this is 2022. And I know across the country, you have multiple instances like this. The state, again, has reneged on its responsibility. Yet, they find money to do all kinds of stuff. Some politicians are stuffing their pockets, raking off, robbing the public purse, while the people's interests are left unattended. Now, how long are we going to continue like this? I don't know. The bloodletting continues. Shoot to kill, I don't know if that is a deterrent. Now, a lot of PR has been done to correct or to paper over what the minister said. They are saying that the minister did not say that policemen should shoot to kill. Right? Now, I think there is universal consensus around the point that if you attack the security forces, then you must face the consequences. I don't think there is any controversy about that. But the state, the Jamaican state, and any state for that matter, but the Jamaican state, in a country where for the last 20 years over 1,000 people, Jamaicans, have been murdered. This is a violent state. And therefore, the state cannot and must be careful how it preach violence. You see, the ministers and the public officials, when they get frustrated, they make all sorts of loose statements and then try to blame media and sometimes their political opponents for taking them out of context. But we know what they mean. Shoot first and ask questions after. Bustamante said, bring them in dead or alive. Right? That was his response to the Coral Gardens massacre. Right? When crime was getting out of hand, when the late Usher was prime minister, he said, shoot first and ask questions after. Right? The late Dudley Thompson, as National Security Minister, no angels were killed at Green Bay. When the Jamaica Defense Force organized and led 5 men, innocent men, unarmed men, to Green Bay, where they were massacred, right? And his response was that no angels were killed at Green Bay. So we are accustomed to these loose outbursts from the political forces and the politicians over the years. We are accustomed to that. So let them talk. Let them paper over. Let them try to repair their loose outbursts. We know that what is their intent. We know what is their intent. This government has demonstrated its intent already to deal with crime. States of emergency. And they want to militarize the security forces. That's a military solution. I gather we have Mr. Raymond Pryce with us. Raymond, how are you?
Evening, Sir Desmond.
Well, I hope you are dry and safe.
I am, and I hope your listeners are dry and safe.
I sincerely hope so.
And
But
I'm going to add warm.
yes, but I understand that the wicket in Manchester today was a bit soggy, and your bowlers.
No,
It wasn't
no,
that.
no, no. Listen, let me tell you about Manchester,
Yeah,
especially that section of Manchester, which was rather close to Craighead,
yeah.
where I am from. Classically, our weather brings breeze,
Uh-huh.
moisture, what we would have called dew rain.
Yes.
So, and there was also a little rain, but it was
Okay.
a beautiful regular Manchester Sunday.
Oh, I gather. But the batting wicket. So your batsmen perform well. The weather didn't affect them.
Yeah, the weather intervened.
Yeah.
Some persons from out in Portland and St. Thomas, and other parts of the island were, I think, from about 3 this morning until about 9, would have had particularly heavy rain. But allowances were made for that. So the weather was there, as the weather always is.
Okay. Now you put your hat in the ring today to take over the chairmanship of the People's National Party. Tell me about that. What was the outcome?
All right. So the process, based on our party's constitution and our convention, they, what do I say? At the adjournment of public session on annual conference last week Sunday, the a set of posts become vacant.
Uh-huh.
Chairman, deputy chairman, and 11 members of the executive. So from about mid-June, we would have been having a series of constituency and divisional conferences.
Right.
In each occasion, there are changes in different positions.
Mhm.
Sometimes incumbents are returned, sometimes incumbents are not returned.
Right.
This is a natural part of the annual internal renewal of the People's National Party.
Uh-huh.
Today, at the Covelock campus of Knox Community College, we had the first NEC since annual conference, where it is stated in the Constitution that at that first NEC after annual conference, 11 persons from the NEC, the National Executive Council, will be elected to the executive committee of the party,
Yes.
and a deputy chairman elected from among the executive, and a chairman elected from among the NEC, right?
Right.
So 13 posts were contested today, 13,
Mhm.
all internal at a relatively high level of the party.
Mhm.
Not the highest level, because the highest level would be the vice president, and then above the vice president, the president.
Uh-huh.
The president, which is dealt with at the annual conference.
Right.
Today was a business meeting
Mm.
to complete another leg in the process
Yes.
of this personnel, the leadership personnel. So at the next executive committee meeting now, we have an additional 4 persons who will be co-opted to the executive. And these are usually comrades that have a unique or specific contribution to make. And then after that, we have what are called commissions, such as the Outreach and Recruitment Commission or the Political Education Commission.
So what
And
happened to the?
choices,
Yes, but tell me about the chairmanship today. What happened?
I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
And choices will be made as to who would chair those
Committee.
processes and those commissions
Yeah.
for the upcoming political year. So the process today went by and large without any public knowledge or attention.
Yeah.
So this idea that there was a challenge at trying to do this and do that. Detritus is how I describe that. We had our normal constituted process of
Uh-huh.
our internal democracy. And in this case, I don't think you want to hear all 11 executive members, but some new members
Time does
have
not
been
permit
brought
us.
on.
Yeah.
Right. Some have been returned, and some who served years prior were returned in that election. For deputy chairman, it continues to be Floyd Morris, and
Yes.
for chairman, it continues to be Angela Brownberg.
Okay. So just enlighten my darkness. You didn't challenge for chairmanship.
I contested the post, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, so the two persons nominated for chairman was yours truly and
Yes.
Angela Brownberg.
Okay. And the delegates gave
Uh,
Angela the nod.
so hold on a second again. Because of how the discussion has always been about the delegates, delegates select vice presidents and president.
Yes.
This was an election among the body that
Oh.
constitutes the body of members of the National Executive Council.
How many
So
members?
these
How
were-
many members comprise the NEC? How many?
The NEC
Yeah.
can be comprised of as many as 480 persons.
Wow.
Because if for example, when next the PNP wins a significant majority, every parliamentarian, every member of parliament of both houses are automatically members of the NEC. So currently, we have 14 from the lower house and 8 from the upper house.
Yes.
So that's why I said the membership can be as high as.
Yes.
Because if we have 14 mayors,
How many
or 15
people?
mayors,
How many
then
people?
we could have
How many
each
people
mayor
voted today?
present.
How many people voted today?
About 270
Yes.
persons voted
How
today.
many votes you got?
102.
Yeah. You did well.
I always do.
Okay. So you're not are you disappointed?
Well, anyone who enters a race prefers to win,
Of course.
but I wouldn't use the word disappointed.
Okay. All right, comrade. Just my final question. My
listen,
final question to you.
Desmond, it may disappoint your listeners, and everything that is on radio is also can be streamed live on platforms such as YouTube. So it may disappoint your viewers as well. But if what you expected or what they expected would have been a sullen or solemn Raymond Pryce, no, it isn't.
Okay. But you know something, I want to throw out this one too. I
Go
saw
ahead.
where the party, I read some in the newspapers where the party is trying to redefine itself. And they are saying that they want to abandon democratic socialism for democratic left. Now, what the hell is that? Can you define that for me?
I can take an easier route rather than to define democratic left.
Yes.
So the document about which you speak came out of a process led by Professor Anthony Boggs.
Yes.
And there was a summary document which had some tenets, and the last on the list was about the democratic left, that we are a party, a mass organization, a democratic party of the democratic left. And the the private session of conference accepted all but that one.
Oh, that was rejected.
That was not accepted, correct.
So the party remain a democratic socialist party?
Not just that. Well, let me answer that definitively. Yes, it does.
Yes.
And it's a party that will continue to develop and propose to the nation, offer to the nation, progressive policies. In some countries, they call those affirmative action. I'll give a quick example. When the PNP determined that the National Housing Trust, in its current dispensation, was to have been established, and by statute that employers and employees would contribute. That's a classic example of affirmative action or a progressive policy. In the modern era, in addition to maintaining those traditional ones, we are in the process of designing policies that will deal with some of the emerging challenges that we faced. When the party was formed in 1938, probably one of the biggest challenges was kwashioka or chiga among the population. Right. In 2022, the existential crisis that we must resolve through policy and legislation is climate change.
Okay.
And the PNP will be designing policies and programs. One such would be how to get Jamaican private households to become solarized. So instead of powering electricity from imported fossil fuels, how do we use renewables? So these are the things contemplated during the process led by Tony Boggs.
All right, I want to tell you something, that this platform is open for you to continue, but we have to just curtail it this afternoon. Thanks for.
Well, I was happy to hear from you because I hadn't seen you for quite a while.
Yes.
And you are, and I say this easily and to your listeners, Desmond, you are one of those persons that continue to educate and inspire this nation through your media. You're welcome, sir.
I thank you very much for that, sir. That was Mr. Raymond Pryce, the People's National Party. And, you know, the party today had its internal elections, and he was one of the candidates. This is Rebel Radio, and I am Desmond Richards.
Ever wanted to share what you know about a crime, but were too afraid? At Crime Stop, we make it easy for you to report on crimes safely and 100% anonymously. All it takes is 4 simple steps. First, contact the tip line at 311 or visit www.crimestop.org or www.311tips.com. Then share what you know anonymously with one of our trained counselors. Any information related to criminal activity is accepted. We don't want to know your identity. We don't record calls or use star 69. And there is no way of tracing tips over the phone or online. You'll also be given a file number for your tip. Next, track the progress of your tip by calling our tip line at 311 and quoting your file number. Finally, if your tip leads to success, you will be eligible for a cash reward. Rewards will be paid out upon request through a trusted disbursement agency with verification process to ensure that your identity remains hidden. Share what you know anonymously.
Do it for your best life. Wait. Go check your HIV status. Wait. So keep your life trending, no pretending. Me I tell yourself do it for you, do it for you. Every time you are link with a condom, coulda Ozzy, coulda wife, coulda be a random. Condom connect and protect your profile. Be your own fan. Do it for your best life. Do it for your best life. Do it. Don't put yourself at risk. Condom connect every time. Do it for your best life. Do it.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica. No dirty up Jamaica. No dirty up Jamaica. No dirty up Jamaica.
With a message to you from myself and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Shenyang, everyone feel wear a mask. Let the numbers drop. I don't want COVID, lay you down flat. Nose and mouth, you fi cover up that. Oh oh, oh oh. the virus than fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause you test us say you no have it, you can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause you test us say you no have it, you can still get the virus. So keep the numbers down, protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Yeah. Keep the numbers down, protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive.
One, two, three, two more. 1, 2. Adults to 30 minutes activity daily. Love your body, treat your body right. Vegetables, make sure you eat plenty. Children do 60 minutes activity daily. Drink some water when you feel thirsty. Cut down dessert and have a smoothie. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. One more time now. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Listen up. Make sure you know your health status. Go a doctor and get a regular checkup. Chronic disease can slowly creep up. We can lower the risk and live up if we just eat right and get moving. Jumping, running, dancing or skipping. Change the children, them lazy habit. Make them play out the door and put down the tablet. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat.
Jamaica, wet Sunday afternoon in the corporate area, and I believe all over the country. It's time for workers' time. You know, that section of the show that is dedicated towards the workplace. We want to ensure that there's harmony. And this evening, to find out, get the temperature at the workplace, we have the president of the UAW, Mr. Lambert Brown. Lammy, what's going on? Hello? Hello?
Sorry, my apologies. I muted the phone. Thank you, Desmond, and I hail up all your listeners in Rebel Radio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is the station that is dedicated to serve the people and to highlight the people's concern. And on that note, I would like you to tell my listeners and viewers what is happening at the workplace in Jamaica at this time.
But before I tell them what is happening at the workplace, I'd like to mention that come next month, October, will be 50 years since the university workers took a 3-week-long strike, uniting workers and students. And one of the benefits of that strike, 50 years after, is the 5-day, 40-hour work week. So come next year, April, will be 50 years since Jamaica is benefiting from a 5-day, 40-hour work week. You see, in Jamaica, we tend to take some things for granted. But 50 years ago, you had to work 6 days a week, and you had to work like 48 hours a week. But the university workers took a strike, led by the UAW, and that changed it, not only at the university, but for the rest of the country. So workplaces today ought to remember that the best way to get progress in this country for yourself and your children is through the willingness to take action, to struggle, and to meet what is facing you today.
Yes.
The cost of living, because every workplace, Desmond, is facing cost of living. When you work in a place, you get wages. But can the wages keep you going now? To pay rent, to pay mortgage if you have gotten the house set through the NHT, for example, to pay light bill, to pay water rate, food, school. So a major problem facing every single worker in the country today is that of cost of living, which keep getting higher and higher and higher. And so some places have made adjustments, but the workers have had to fight and must continue fighting for such adjustment. We saw, for example, the minimum wage going up recently after several years, but still far from a livable wage.
Yes, sir.
So people really struggling, you know. I had a friend named Joe Roglas in the 50s. He used to sing a song about workers in cement, but they can't pay rent.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing today. People really are struggling to survive because of the cost of living. In addition to the cost of living, people are finding job security.
Yes.
That they're not securing the job. So we saw, for example, yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled that thousands of security guards who are called contractors are not really contractors, are subcontractors, are independent and self-employed workers. But they are workers who are entitled to, and if you're a worker under Jamaica law, you're entitled to vacation leave, you're entitled to sick leave, you're entitled to maternity leave, and that those benefits have been denied many workers in the country, including security guards, because of this so-called contract work system. And I'd like to make it clear that every worker, whether them selling lotto tickets, whether them work on the road, every worker has a contract. Every worker, whether you're a teacher, a nurse, or a doctor, everybody have a contract. So this idea of contract work is really a scam.
Yes.
If you work in a BPO, you're still a worker. And so I believe one of the problems facing the working class today is this so-called contract work. And that has been used to deny people benefits and to things like pension, deny them pension. Would you believe that there are workers working for 18 years on a 1-year contract? Every year for that 18 years they're called and the contract is renewed.
But that must be disruptive, Lammy.
It is not just disruptive. It is evil.
Yes.
And countries like England, South Africa, Zambia, Australia have found ways to change that because these laws have come in, these policies have come in to turn back the progressive labor legislation like the Labor Relations and Industrial Dispute Act and the Employment Termination and Redundancy Payment Act, which allow people to get redundancy payment and set up a business or other opportunities. Those laws passed in the 70s, 74 and 75.
Right.
That this contracting was aimed at getting around that.
Right.
It's a dangerous thing.
So what the unions are doing to address that matter?
Well, the unions have been lobbying, and we continue to lobby. I mean, I heard Senator Cavan Gill today in a radio program saying this is a bad thing and we need to change and we need to continue to fight.
Right.
I am happy that the party that I support, the People's National Party, that Dr. Peter Phillips and current leader Mark Golding has thrown their weight behind the need for laws to protect these workers. And I am aware that our policy is that we will bring in a law similar to the United Kingdom, England.
Yes.
Not outlawing contract work, but protecting the workers who work on contract.
Yes. Just backtrack a little to that. What I think is a victory for the security guards because for years they have been struggling. They have been working on some of the most adverse conditions. Now, how the union, that is supposed to provide the union with some more ammunition to change this contract working conditions. Eh?
Fully agree with you on that, and certainly it's an issue I have raised in the Senate, Cavan has raised in the Senate, and will continue to raise and hope that we can get government response. But, you know, in the 70s, security guards were unionized,
Yes.
and there's a lawyer who is now deceased by the name of Bobby Barr. And Bobby Barr encouraged the employers to go this route of contract.
Yes.
And in going this route of contract, for example, it means that they avoid paying their contribution to the housing trust.
Yes.
So they starve the housing trust of that money. And it's interesting that by treating the security guards as contractors, the security guards are paying more in NHT contribution than the law requires of them.
Wow.
The law requires that they pay 2%.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are self-employed, you pay 3%.
Yes.
And so that measure was a measure that hurt the workers. But some workers felt, oh, it was fine. Because if I'm a contractor, they don't draw tax out of my pay.
Yes.
But the truth is, if you earn more than 1.5 million, tax is going to be drawn out of your pay.
Yes.
So that's not an advantage that came to the workers.
Mm-hmm. Just hold it there for us. I mean, we're coming back. We are going to take a short break.
Yeah,
we are talking to Lambert Brown of the UAW on Workers' Time. This is Rebel Radio, Desmond Richards.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash no paper, no dash no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in at the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
the island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
With a message to you from myself and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Shen Yangs, everyone say wear a mask where the numbers drop. I don't want COVID, lay your down flat. Nose and mouth you fi cover up that. Oh oh, oh oh, sanitizer gets hospitalized. Fight the virus and fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause your test say you no have it, you can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause your test say you no have it, you can still get the virus. So keep the numbers down, protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Keep the numbers down, protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground.
Welcome back to Rebel Radio, and we are talking to Lambert Brown, president of the UAW, and on Workers' Time, and we are looking at issues affecting workers at the workplace. Lammy, so what are the employers saying about the contract work? Are they receptive to ideas for change on this issue?
Well, you know, about 2002, we worked with the Jamaica Employers Federation to change the law the Labor Relations and Industrial Dispute Act, to define a worker in a way that would capture some of what is called contract workers.
Yes.
It's interesting that the court yesterday did not address that law in coming to its decision, but it certainly would have been useful. So some employers are prepared where we insist and where the government insists to treat people as workers. But for a long time, for example, the NHT treated them as if they were contractors, which is why the court said that they shouldn't pay the $400 million that is outstanding. So you have to keep pressing on that. But we see, for example, that the government is joining into this approach. And I've seen where in some workers' contract in government, they have introduced what is called arbitration. Whereas the idea was to move away from the old system of arbitration and allow matters to go to the Industrial Dispute Tribunal.
Right.
So even the government is trying to go around this. And so in this current negotiation with the government, we intend to raise that with them. How can it be that they are inserting arbitration clause in their employment contract? Because once they start that, private sector employers will say, all right, we can use the contract route. We will insert in every contract an arbitration clause.
Yes, yes.
Which means that you can go to the Ministry of Labour, you can rush to the IDT thereafter, because you're going to have to get some individual to arbitrate the case. And that has to be outlawed by government.
Right.
And certainly the government ought not to be going that route.
So the government is, as far as that is concerned, the government is working backward.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a dangerous route.
What about this reform process that is now in progress? I heard the Minister of Finance calling for calm and saying that there's a lot of misleading information out there because the process is in train and workers are not going to be losing salaries. And, you know, he painted a picture that all is hunky-dory. Is that your experience?
It's not a review. It's not a reform. It's a review. Yeah. A review which arose from the several MOUs that the public sector unions have signed with the government when the economic situation was worse. So the unions, over time, with successive government, PNP, JLP, agreed to hold strain 9% a wage bill to get the economy back on track. In 2015, Dr. Peter Phillips agreed as Minister of Finance with the unions that there would be a compensation review and that was signed into contract with the workers. So 2016 election came, and so it is that now that Nigel Clark is running with. That decision of Dr. Peter Phillips is running with. And we are working to get that review. So there's a team from the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions who have been quietly meeting, and I have Granville Valentine, myself, Cavan Gale, O'Neill Grant, and the team is led by Elaine Davis White, President of Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions. Right. We have been working quietly, negotiating. And so, for example, when the minister said no car concession, no motor vehicle concession, that took us by surprise.
Yes.
It was an arrogant move because we're talking and we hadn't reached an agreement on that, and we still haven't reached an agreement on that. But we have made some progress in respect to salary for some of the people, but that is yet to be settled. It's a pretty near settlement, and it could see some significant increase in pay negotiated by the unions for public sector workers. And even some who are not represented by union are likely to get a significant increase.
You mean the permanent? Are you talking about the permanent secretary?
No, permanent secretaries are sometimes represented by the Jamaica Civil Service Association, but there's a group of public officers who are above the permanent secretaries, and they too are due for an increase, and I do not begrudge them. But I want it to be known that as a result of the compensation review, I heard a member of parliament saying MP must get pay increase and minister must get pay increase.
Well,
That member of parliament knows that that is happening, that is going to happen, and
so
it's
tell
going
me.
to be a
So
significant
hold on.
rise.
Let us get to the heart of this matter, because the parliamentarians, as a result of this process now in train, parliamentarians are going to get a salary increase. So MPs and ministers. Is that what you are saying? You are confirming that.
That is correct.
Now, do you know what will be the size of that increase, or we don't reach
All
that
right,
there?
let me give you a guide.
Yes.
And let me say, I'm not here opposing it. No. I'm not opposing
No.
it. I'm just telling you it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm just asking you.
Yeah, and let me say this to you. The permanent secretary now gets $1 less per month than the minister.
Yes.
So if the top rate in the public sector going to be 24 million or so per year,
Yes.
do the maths, no man.
Yes. Yes. Okay. That is to say, the minister with salary will move up above that. Absolutely. It
It will
must.
be above that.
Yeah, it must be above that. But
Yes.
but Lamy, now
Yes.
you as a unionist said that you don't oppose it. But
Yeah.
but at a time when several 100,000 workers are earning minimum wage, and from all indications, I don't hear any talks of increasing the minimum wage. Now, on what basis will the managers get get salary increases when the workers are sucking salt through a wooden spoon?
Well, let's put it this way. There's an overall compensation review. You can't do it for some and not for others.
Yes.
The workers at the bottom of the public sector will see an increase
Uh-huh.
and a significant increase too. So it's not being done for one set, but not the others. I can't say it's the same level of increase in dollar term, but
Yes.
there's going to be an increase. And so that adjustment is made, and you have to separate the public sector from the private sector. And the private sector, in my view, can pay more, and where they can, they should aim to pay at least a livable wage.
Yes.
But that can't mean that some, including civil servants, police, teachers, nurses, doctors, ancillary workers, correctional officers, firefighters, that they are left behind. So
Uh-huh.
they're going to have to get an increase.
Yes. So the plan that is unveiling now is that, yes, the workers, public sector workers all public sector workers are going to get an increase,
Yeah.
including ministers of government. And
And
they already have a lot of what benefits at their disposal. They have
I don't know that, because truth be told,
yes.
and I'm not a big fan of the Singapore policies, right?
Yes.
But truth be told, if you pay your public sector managers low, you're not going to get a great public service. And you need a great public service, a great public sector to carry the country forward.
But Mr. Brown,
Yeah, man.
would you agree that if you grow the pie, or let me put it this way, Company Jamaica is managed by the politicians, the executive, the cabinet, and they are elected to do that. And we hand over the reins of Company Jamaica to them for 5 years. Now, if they run Company Jamaica successfully, then all of us will be able to get a reasonable slice of the cake. Now, when the company is drowning in red ink, I don't understand where must the money come from to pay to pay increased salaries. I don't understand that at all. That don't happen at Grace Kennedy and at Separate and in the bauxite
I
industry.
don't agree with it, Desmond.
Okay.
The reality is, if you listen here, revenue targets being surpassed,
Yes.
more people, more taxes coming in. And again, I want to commend Peter Phillips, Mark Golding, Portia Simpson government, because they changed some of the tax policies by putting in measures in income tax
Yes.
department, which has allowed for growth in revenue currently being enjoyed by this government. So there's money there
Uh-huh.
that can pay better. And that's why when the union said we made the sacrifice in the past, so one day things will be better and we can reap from the tree that we plant.
Right.
So yes, there's
Hello? Yes, we are talking to Lambert Brown, UAW, and he's, he's telling us that there is money in the coffers to pay increased salaries. But what I would like to know is that, oh yes, there is money there. But why is it that there is a shortage of medicine and other supplies in the public hospitals? Why is it that there is the educational system is crying out for funds? Roads are not being fixed, and other public amenities are in tatters. So why some of that money in the coffers is not used to address these burning issues? I mean, people going to hospitals must be able to get medication, man, and there's a problem there. I also know, and that there are some hospitals are without critical medical equipment. So why is it we need some of that money to be spent in those areas? It can't be that it is in the government treasury, and you know being and they are going to use that now to pay increased salaries. I think there is a problem there. Lamy, you are back with us?
yes, I am.
I while we had that break, I was saying that yes, you are saying, and there's evidence. What you are saying, I can't contradict that. That the public treasury is laden with funds, but I'm sure you're aware that hospitals are without critical equipment. Roads are not being fixed. You have water shortage in many communities. The educational system is starved for funds. So I would like to ask why is it that some of that funds is not used to address these critical matters?
It's not why some of it. It's why more is the question because a lot of money is being spent on roads, water, and other benefits. Some will say, and I will agree, inadequately so. But that is not to say our teachers are leaving, our nurses are leaving
Yes.
because they're underpaid.
Uh-huh.
And because the roads, every road hasn't been fixed. And the bridge in trial that should have been fixed already.
Yes.
And the bridge in Westmoreland or wherever that should have been fixed already hasn't been fixed. It's not a sign that workers shouldn't get better pay. And so I am for better pay for workers too, while doing the other things. In other words, we must whistle and ride. It can't be that we rise, leave the workers alone. So it is in that context that there's going to be an increase. When the cost of living has gone, we are ahead of workers. So I can't argue that workers must get an increase. And because the politicians are part of the public sector, they shouldn't get an increase. You know, many years ago when Oliver Clark was alive,
Yes.
and he was asked to do
A review.
a review of parliamentarian salary.
Yes.
I went before him representing the UAW, and I made a suggestion to him, which he put in his report.
Yes.
I said, we should tie salary increase to growth in the economy,
Yes.
so that the ministers must be aiming to grow the economy. And therefore, from that growth, increase can be paid.
Yes, of course.
So it's not that I'm not sympathetic to the need for everywhere to get something. But the workers in this country, and we have been criticized, we have gone through wage restraint, we have gone through wage freeze, we have gone through MOU, we have made sacrifices.
Yes.
And so when there's more, it is just right and proper that those who have sacrificed should get some of the benefits.
Uh-huh. Well, you know, I am not opposed to that, you know, because as you pointed out, that there is need. The cost of living is rising to the sky. So I know that, and people, but I maintain my point, and I am suggesting that some more of the funds that has been is taxpayers, you know, it's taxpayers' money we're talking about, because this money that we are talking is not grant. So therefore, while yes, the workers must get increased salaries because they are working, but there are some public amenities which are in need of funds in order for them to work efficiently. Attention must be...
You and I are not going to disagree on that, you know.
Yes.
And this is why I'm so opposed to corruption in government. I'm so opposed to the waste that takes place sometimes, that you fix one road, and before the rain falls, you just have a funeral and plenty of people cry at the funeral, and the road mash up.
Yes.
Right? So if we tackle some of those corrupting issues,
yes,
the overrun and the waste, we can do more.
Yeah. Right.
But don't make the alternative be pay people less.
Uh-huh.
So let's fight for more. We have an $800 billion budget. Let's use it much more wisely.
Uh-huh.
You and I agree on that.
Right.
But that is not about paying workers less.
Okay. Well, hold it for a moment there. We're going to take a break. This is Rebel Radio, and we are talking about industrial matters and good news for the employees. Big paycheck coming up. I'm Desmond Richards.
Adults to 30 minutes activity daily. Love your body, treat your body right. Vegetables, make sure you eat plenty. Children do 60 minutes activity daily. Drink some water when you feel thirsty. Cut down dessert and have a smoothie. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. One more time now. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Listen up. Make sure you know your health status. Go a doctor and get a regular checkup. Chronic disease can slowly creep up. We can lower the risk and live up if we just eat right and get moving. Jumping, running, dancing or skipping. Change the children, them lazy habit. Make them play out the door and put down the tablet. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Jamaica, get moving. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. After two, make me hear you say I love me. 1, 2. I love me. 1, 2. I love me. 1, 2. I love me. After two, make me hear you say I love me. 1, 2. I love me. 1, 2. I love me. 1.
Back with Rebel Radio, and we are talking trade union. We are talking about workers' rights on workers' time. And we are talking to the UAW president, Lambert Brown. Lammy, before we took the break, you were telling us that, in other words, you were arguing that it is time for the workers to get a break. Hello?
And I'm saying, not just arguing for that, I'm saying that the union, the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, I know the JTA is also negotiating separately. I know the Police Federation, they too are negotiating separately. Like the workers in the public sector are saying, this is our time. And to be fair to Nigel Clark, he has been responsive and the discussions are showing progress and could bear fruit very soon.
Yes, yes. That's very good news. Lamy, there have been talks in recent times about this unity in the trade union movement. Is that real or it's just, speculation?
Well, there's the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Union, which is real, of which there are vice presidents from several unions, including myself, including the BITU, including the National Workers Union, including UTAS. There are officers from the JTA in the unions. Yeah. I'd love to see more unions coming together. The nurses, I'd love to see them back in the Confederation. And the police have a separate arrangement. So, yes, I'd like to see greater unity. Mm-hmm. But I am living with the fact that there's great solidarity, that unions are trusting each other to go and do the negotiations. Yes. There was a time when there was regular raiding of one union by the other. That's not so much so now. And I know, for example, that I cooperate with other unions and I share my experience with other union leaders and other officers of unions so that as a trade union movement, we can have stronger advocacy going forward. I know, for example, when we had the occupational health and safety law going through the parliament, Cavanagh and I worked together across party lines to push the best interests of the workers. Yes, yes. So I believe that if you look historically 50 years ago, there's greater unity today. Okay. Can it be stronger? Yes. Mm-hmm. Should we be working to make it stronger? Yes. And that's part of the task that's ahead of us.
Okay. So you would say they are working to bring all the unions under one umbrella, right?
It may not come soon because everybody wants to be king in their own kingdom. Yes. But the reality is, if you look globally, unions are merging. Mm-hmm. And we should look in Jamaica to see if we can merge and come together and be stronger together.
Yes. Yes. Now, what is happening? The industrial tribunal, is that
Yes.
functioning efficiently these days?
Well, this way, there are a number of challenges by employers to decisions of the tribunal. I am fairly satisfied that the tribunal is operating justly
Yes.
and fairly, and a lot of workers who before the tribunal was set up would not get justice. In fact, the law, Desmond, before the tribunal is that an employer can just fire you at will.
Yes.
No, that employer can't just give a just and fair,
Yes.
and that I think was one of the decisions that Michael Manley made. Another of them that strengthened workers, allow for workers to get redundancy payment. Recently, some employers to a party have taken the Ministry of Labour and the tribunal to court that the tribunal can't use redundancy matters.
Yes.
Interesting cases went to the Supreme Court, one of which the judge said, yes, the tribunal can deal with redundancy matter, and here is the reason why. The case said, no, the tribunal can't deal with redundancy matter. But it's interesting that the Court of Appeal, in a recent decision, has said that the Employment Termination and Redundancy Payment Act doesn't prevent the tribunal from dealing with matters.
Right.
The mere fact that you comply with it. So I'm looking for the Court of Appeal dealing with those appeals having to do with redundancy payment act and giving the tribunal, which is a specialized body of the parliament, right, to address those issues fully. I believe the tribunal have the power now, but it will be good to see the Court of Appeal reaffirm that.
I saw in one report from one of my colleagues that there was a huge job fair on the North Coast there sometime last week, and thousands attended, many of whom are workers from the hotel sector.
Yes.
Is it that? And I happen to hear from employers complaining about a shortage of labor, especially in the hotel sector. Is it that workers are seeking a gateway to migrate?
Well, truth be told, hotel sector is one of those here as well that the workers are treated as contractors.
Yes.
And if a test case is done like the security guard, it will be found that they are really workers,
yes,
not contractors. And so they are on 6-month contract. And it's difficult to organize a union because by the time you bring in the union, 6 months is over, you no longer have a work, and there's so many people looking at jobs that they will bring in other people to do the same work. So I'd hope that, again, they need to fix the contract relations in law so that you can't exploit and abuse workers the way you're doing. So I'm not surprised that people are running away from low wages to go abroad where the wages are better.
Yes.
So that is a case in the labor market in the country. And I hope that discussion will take place, which can fix this. As you see, from 85 to now, that's over 30 years.
Yes.
And this contracting is just being fixed by the Supreme Court, and it's open to appeal.
Yes.
So it may not even get this fully fixed.
Yes.
So these things do take time, and that's why I started your program by celebrating the university workers. 50 years ago, they went on a three-week strike. The government sent the army up to the university to quash the strike,
Yes.
But that strike resulted in the 5-day, 40-hour work week, starting in the university, 1st of April, 1973, and then on the 15th of April, 1973 for the public sector, and it washed away from the public sector to the private sector. So if you work 5 day, 40-hour work week today in Jamaica, thank the university workers and their strike 50 years ago on the university campus.
Do you see any sign of, you know, employers trying to roll back some of those benefits?
You know, Desmond, it's a constant effort by the employers to go back to the law that existed, what is called the Master and Servant Act,
Yes,
which was passed in 1838.
yes,
That's not a mistake, 1838.
yeah.
4 years after slavery was abolished.
Yes,
And we're going through the apprenticeship stage. That's when the law passed.
right.
Nobody looking like me was in the parliament then.
No,
It was the slave masters' representatives who were there.
right.
It is that law that governed us up until 1974.
Wow.
So many employers still behave and act as if that law of 1838 is still in place.
Yes,
And that's why I have to give praise to Michael Mann and the government and the progressive laws passed, including maternity leave with pay, which regrettably after 42 years is still at 8 weeks with pay instead of what Mark Golden has said, no, should go to 14 weeks with pay.
yeah. Have you been following up reports out of Canada about some complaints from the farm workers?
Farm workers?
Yes,
Yes, and it's so sad because there are thousands of farm workers there over many years, and I do not think they are getting the proper representation. Sometimes you get too desperate for the job that you ignore as a government the condition of our people.
yes,
I believe we can argue for better condition of the workers and still maintain the contracts to do the work. Because we know the farm workers benefit a lot of Jamaicans who
Yes.
come back, build house, send them picnic go school, and move forward.
yeah, of course.
So, how we find the balance of improving the lives of the workers on the job, the condition of work, maintaining the job, is what the minister, his liaison team, others should be doing.
Right, right. And you know, instead of they're trying to downplay the reports, just treat it, just
I'm not
investigate the
saying it's
matter.
clearly this, man. Can you repeat what you just said?
No, I'm saying that there have been some instances where the reports from the workers, you know, it is like some people want to pour cold water on it. But what I think they
That's
should
back
have,
administration. That's
Yeah.
backward national administration. You know, when Portia was the Minister of Labour, she built excellent relationship with the employers,
Right.
but she insisted that the condition of our workers be properly treated. If you go down to East Street now,
yes,
where just below the Minister Gleaner Company, there's a pretty building that is there. Compared to when we were sending farm work, that's where farm workers now
Yeah.
operate from.
yes.
Change from. Go,
I
take a
remember.
bath.
Yeah,
One time they were changing the streets outside of
of course.
Hanover Street.
Yes, yes.
So things can be done. Portia showed how it could be done. And in fact, I urged the Minister of Labour to name that building in honor of Portia Miller
Right, right.
and use it as a symbol as to how we can improve the condition of our farm workers.
The teacher, some teachers are leaving. You know, the police force
No,
to.
it's not coming through very clearly.
Are you hearing me now? Are you hearing me better?
Much better.
Yes, I'm saying that the exodus in the teaching profession is not just confined there, because policemen are leaving too, you know, and other professionals. In other words, are you concerned about the what is popularly referred to as a
I agree with
brain
you.
drain?
Not just the teachers. There are
Yeah.
20,000 teachers, so there are going to be more teachers leaving.
Yes,
That was 12,000 police. A lot of them have left, gone to the Caribbean,
Yes.
gone to Cayman,
Right.
gone abroad to the US, Canada,
Yeah.
United Kingdom, and serving there. Nurses, doctors, and other professionals are leaving. And that's why wages is not the only thing. If we can improve, sorry, improve their wages, improve their working conditions. I've heard Damon Crawford, for example, say, let's find ways to assist them with housing
Yes.
through
Yes.
NIS.
Right.
Let's assist them with motor vehicle concession.
Yes.
So there are ways and means we can reach out to these people to keep them in Jamaica.
Of course. Yes.
That we can afford it.
But so so I'm giving you the final words. I mean, tell us what just tell us what exists now and where you see what the future holds for the work.
Well, there are laws that need to be put in place, just as they were done in the 70s to protect workers.
Yes.
One such is about contract work.
Yes.
Another one is to get the government to remove this arbitration clause out of workers' contract. Generally, I believe in the country there's a movement between employers, some private sector people, to get decent work conditions existing. That movement deserves support. And the union must continue to fight in the most creative and smart way, unifying itself along the way to improve the life of the workers. Because it's not just bread and butter, but it's about the general life. Crime, for example, affect workers. Corruption affect workers. So these are issues to the union movement will have to address as we go along.
Okay. Want to thank you very much, Mr. Brown.
Thank you too.
And just to let you know that this is a continuous program, so we will have you back again to discuss these very important
Anytime you're
issues.
ready.
Yes, this
Workers' time on Rebel Radio.
right, of course, Rebel Radio, and I am Desmond Richards. Let me show you have to call some people now.
Ever wanted to share what you know about a crime but were too afraid? At Crime Stop, we make it easy for you to report on crimes safely and 100% anonymously. All it takes is 4 simple steps. First, contact the tip line at 311 or visit www.crimestop.org or www.311tips.com. Then share what you know anonymously with one of our trained counselors. Any information related to criminal activity is accepted. We don't want to know your identity. We don't record calls or use star 69, and there is no way of tracing tips over the phone or online. You'll also be given a file number for your tip. Next, track the progress of your tip by calling our tip line at 311 and quoting your file number. Finally, if your tip leads to success, you will be eligible for a cash reward. Rewards will be paid out upon request through a trusted disbursement agency with verification process to ensure that your identity remains hidden. Share what you know anonymously.
Do it for your best life. Wait. Go check your HIV status. Wait. So keep your life trending, no pretending. Me I tell yourself it, do it for you, do it for you. Every time you are link with a condom, coulda Uzi, coulda wife, coulda be a random. Condom connect and protect your profile. Be your own fan. Do it for your best life. Do it for your best life. Do it. Don't put yourself at risk. Condom connect every time. Do it for your best life. Do it.
Welcome back to Rebel Radio, and I am Desmond Richards. Now, this section of the show is called Link Up, and this is where we try to link up with Jamaicans globally, and those in the rural parishes too, because we want to keep everybody be a part of this show. And so we have one brother from Brownstown, Orange Hill in St. Anne, and we want to link up with him. Herbie, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what is happening in Brownstown at this time? The Orange Hill. What is happening down there?
You're not coming through very clearly.
You're not hearing me? Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you hearing me? I am hearing you. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
Okay. I'm asking you what is happening in Orange Hill at this time. How is the weather, first of all?
Well, the weather is fairly well back in this side.
Yeah?
Of the parish, Orange Hill.
Yeah.
The rain, we have a lot of rain today.
Uh-huh.
Not too hard, but continuous rain from in the morning.
Yes.
And until about 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So for right now, things is on the good side.
Yes.
For right now, we don't know about tomorrow.
Okay. Then
things is pretty cool back in Orange right now.
Okay.
Up on the way.
Yes. But tell me something now. What about conditions in that part of the country? I mean, in terms of roads, water supply, etc., etc. What is happening?
I hear you clearly.
I wonder why you're not hearing me clearly.
I'm not hearing you clearly.
I'm hearing you very clear. I wonder what is happening when I'm not hearing you clearly. And are you hearing me better? Hello?
I didn't hear the question.
No, I'm asking in terms of some of the social conditions down there. I mean, like roads and water supply and employment. Tell us about that. Tell me about that.
Well, the water supply is not too good. We are having problem getting water in Orange Hill.
Uh-huh.
The pipe, we have a
Yes.
I should say a pipe run through the area, but there is no water supply. We only get water supply like every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So we are having problem with that.
Right.
Employment is not good.
Mm-hmm.
There is not much going on right now in Orange for the youth them,
Yes.
as far as I am concerned,
Mm-hmm.
and as far as me I see.
Yeah.
So we need some farmer employment to set up for the youth them, so that the youth them can acquire some skill.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have nobody in a few years with a lobby for that
Okay.
right now.
Yes. 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 So that is a concern, right? Tell me something. You know, somebody the other day was telling me that scamming is going on in Brownstown and Orange Hill and those places. Is that true?
Scamming?
Yes.
Well, yes, scamming is a regular thing now
Yeah.
in Brownstown, but for what I know and what I see, scamming is all over the place, and you find the youth them most stick to that now for some reason or the other. I would say lack of employment.
Yes.
One thing lack of employment attract the scamming.
Mm-hmm.
You them can't find nothing to do. So most of them turn to scamming.
Yes. But Herbie, crime is still under control in those in Orange Hill though.
Yeah, man. The crime rate, I would say the crime rate is not bad enough because we don't have enough crime back in Orange.
Mm-hmm.
We a little thing go on now and then, but we don't have no general crime in Orange for the past. Let us say for the past couple of years. Well, not like crime and violence.
Right.
Not in Orange.
Okay. That is very good news. People can, although things are hard, but people can go around about their business in peace.
Yeah, man. Generally.
Well, in Brownstown, Brownstown is not far from where you are. How are things in Brownstown? For example, I know some time ago there was a lot of complaints about the market. Has that been attended to?
Well, I could actually say yes, they conduct some work on the market recently. Like refurbish the food market, clean it out, paint it out, set up some better stall inside of the market.
Yes.
And like on the roadway, I see where them construct a sidewalk where people who cannot manage the road properly can take the sidewalk.
Yes.
So a little thing go on right there. So
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you would say that the conditions in the market has improved.
yes, sir.
Right. That's very good news. So what about the roads in the town? Are they being attended to? And the courthouse
Road
have
in the
they?
town is not bad, but outside of the town, like the adjoining area outside of the town, the road them is into a deplorable condition.
Yes. Yes. And have they started work?
We have a nice stretch. We have a nice stretch of road from, should I say, from Brownstown to Alexandria or
Yes.
past Alexandria going. We have a nice stretch
Yes.
of road right there. So,
Mm-hmm.
so them perform a nice work on a road there.
Yeah.
One of the roads that need to improve though is the road from Brownstown to Otrias.
Oh, Brownstown
And
to
that
Ochi.
road over the past years, that road is into a deplorable condition.
Yes. Yes.
And motorists keep complaining about it, but there is nothing done over the past years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think the authorities need to look at that and take it into serious consideration and perform some work.
Wow.
Some definitely some work need to perform on the road.
Yeah. I know that the courthouse was burned down earlier this year. What about that? Have the work started?
Well, the courthouse burned down a few months ago, and then what me notice is that them start to use them have a facility in Addison Park.
Oh.
Up by the SDC, so them use up there so as the courthouse.
Yeah.
As far as them know now.
So what about the cricket field? But tell me something, man. Addison Park, as I know, it was one of was the main sporting field. What the cricket field? What happened to that? I mean, I hope.
I can tell you that it's still up and running, because they have some competitive competition going on round and about right now. And Addison Park, one of the grounds where them keep most of them competitive competition. They like football and cricket.
Okay.
I want to tell you them even construct some floodlights around the park now.
Yes.
So that they can have
night matches. That's good news, man. Well, Herbie, I want to thank you, and I want you to know that we'll be having many more discourse as we go along, because we want to keep abreast of what is happening in rural Jamaica. You know, Kingston is not Jamaica, and Rebel Radio has an interest to keep the people in the rural parishes in the center of our discussions. I want to thank you very much, and we will join you again. Rebel Radio here, and Desmond Richards is your host. We'll be back shortly with more discussion from the rural areas. Stay tuned.
Do it for your best life, wait. Go check your HIV status, wait. So keep your life trending, no pretending. Me I tell yourself it, do it for you. Every time you are link with a condom, coulda Uzi, coulda wife, coulda be a random. Condom connect and protect your profile. Be your own fan. Do it for your best life. Do it for your best life. Do it. Don't put yourself at risk. Condom connect every time. Do it for your best life. Do it.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your eat.
Keep the island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica. No dirty up Jamaica. No dirty up Jamaica. No dirty up Jamaica.
With a message to you from myself and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Shen Yangs, everyone fi wear a mask where the numbers drop. I don't want COVID, lay you down flat. Nose and mouth you fi cover up that. Oh oh, oh oh. Sanitize or get hospitalized. Fight the virus and fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause you test say you no have it. You can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause you test say you no have it. You can still get the virus. So keep
2, 3, 2 more. 1, 2. Adults to 30 minutes activity daily. Love your body, treat your body right. Vegetables, make sure you eat plenty. Children do 60 minutes activity daily. Drink some water when you feel thirsty. Cut down dessert and have a smoothie. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. One more time now. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Listen up. Make sure you know your health status. Go a doctor and get a regular checkup. Chronic disease can slowly creep up. We can lower the risk and live up if we just eat right and get moving. Jumping, running, dancing or skipping. Change the children, them lazy habit. Make them play out the door and put down the tablet. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Jamaica, get moving. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right.
Well, this is Rebel Radio, and we are boiling down now to the final section of the show. And we are on Link Up. We're talking to some people from rural Jamaica to find out what is happening in their neck of the woods. Louise, are you there?
Yes, I am. What's up, my friend?
Well, I am glad to hear you. I am trying to find out what's going on in Philadelphia. How is the weather down there?
Well, it's not bad, you know.
Yes?
We're
No,
not getting much rain.
right? So,
We're not getting much rain this side.
okay. That's good. That's very good then, right? No flooding.
No.
Right. So, Louise, tell me, I'm glad to know that you have good weather, but tell me what's going on in Philadelphia. Let me tell my listeners where Philadelphia is in St. Anne, close to Brownstown and Liberty Valley and those places. It is one of the areas in the parish that is, sometimes people don't talk about those places, but we are talking about it. What are some of the issues in your district, Louise?
Well, some of the issue is mostly like jobs for the young people. They leave school and nothing for them to do, you know?
Yes.
I think if we have mainly like the guys on the street corner, if we could get a community center,
Yes.
where each one teach one,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Right. So the young people are idle, and idle hands will find idle work.
Right. They don't have any job to do, so some of them just on the street corner among themselves. So if we get the community center where, somebody teach them something, they could get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, and they're leaving school with nothing to do.
Right. So what about water supplies? Before you answer that question, so is anybody, any group, community group, trying to lobby the relevant authorities, members of parliament, SDC, to get some action in that area?
There used to be this guy, he's about, but I don't know. I talk to him sometimes, and we rap on these things. I'm gonna have him on the program one at a time. I'm gonna tell him about the program,
Right.
and let him give you a highlight on the program,
Mm-hmm.
because I know he's the one who responsible, especially for the play field.
Mm-hmm.
He used to have this thing on a Sunday evening where you have fatty between the slimmy, and you have the ladies going out playing football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was so lovely, the community coming together.
Mm-hmm.
I
What
know you would be interested in a program like this to
what has happened to that?
highlight
Yeah.
what you would like to do.
Mm-hmm. So what has happened to that program?
I guess because of no support
Mm-hmm.
for it, because we used to do it in the evening time, and then you know you'd have to have the floodlight to caught up with the time because you can't run in the dark. You'd have
Yes.
to have light
Yes.
and the system like and so forth.
Right.
So he shut it down, you know,
Wow.
because he wasn't getting the support.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think he right. He would be best to talk about what he was doing,
Yes.
but I guess the support
Yeah.
that he needed, he wasn't getting it.
Okay. What is the main source of income in that area?
Um, mainly farming,
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes.
mainly farming.
Mm. And the farmers now take their crops to where, like places like Brownstown and St. Anne's Bay.
Yeah, and Clark, Brownstown, St. Anne's Bay. You know, some of them go up to Montego Bay to sell their goods.
Yes. Well. So, apart from farming, farming is the mainstay. But people go out
Yes.
of. I would imagine that you have people go out and work in the hotel sector and elsewhere. Am I right there?
Yes, some of them. Some of them.
Right. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
as I said, you need more people giving them jobs.
Mm.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about water supply in Philadelphia?
Oh, if the rain doesn't fall, we don't have water.
So
Even though if the rain is doing and we are not getting much,
yes.
we appreciate what we are getting
Mhm.
because some of us we are poor and we don't have the money to get to truck the water. But
Okay.
now and then, the mayor and Miss Lee, they do give a little water in the drums.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot supply everybody.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll be fighting for the water.
Wow.
People arguing over water.
Yes. Whenever the water truck come, that
Crystal Lee and Mr. Stewart, the mayor,
yes.
they cannot. I am not saying the water that they are giving, it cannot supply the community.
Mm-hmm.
But if we could, because we have pipes coming from Brownstone as near as Valley, this district that Valleys.
Right. But
Get
it is
the
not
water,
but it's not reaching your pipes.
place and everybody get water.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me?
No, you said the water come to up one of the district, but it is not coming up to supply the people in Liberty Valley. In Philadelphia. Right. So what about harvesting? People have tanks? I mean, people have tanks that they could harvest water whenever it rains?
Oh, yes. We have tanks.
Yeah.
And the rhino drums, and they are so expensive.
Yes. Oh.
Tanks and the rhino drums.
Yes.
But people mainly have tanks to store the water.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, Louise, we are going to be coming back to you at another time because we want to know what is happening. We want you to keep us abreast of what is happening in Philadelphia. And thank you very much for joining Rebel Radio tonight.
It's my pleasure.
And the pleasure is mine. Have a good night. Well. They say all good things must come to an end. And we have come to the end of our program for tonight. I want to say thank you to our guest, Mr. Raymond Pryce of the PNP. And we had trained unionist Lambert Brown, the UAW. And we link up with Herbie in St. Anne and Louise in St. Anne, two of our rural folks who kept us abreast of what is happening in their neck of the woods. Well, this is Rebel Radio, and we'll be back with you on Wednesday. Same time, 6:30 to 8:30. At that time, we hope to have former Minister of Industry, the Honorable, not the Honorable, but the Mr. Hilton of the PNP, former Cabinet Minister. We'll be talking to him about talking investments, right? A lot of good things on Wednesday, so stay tuned and stay safe. Keep away from the gunmen. This is Desmond Richards.